Alright, so today we reviewed Resident Evil Retribution, which is directed by Paul W.S. Anderson and written by Paul W.S. Anderson. It stars Mila Jovovich and some returning actors like Michelle Rodriguez, along with Kevin Durand, Sienna Gilroy, and Sean Roberts. It has a budget of $65 million, which is $5 million above Resident Evil Afterlife. I'm curious to see how much this will make it at the box office this weekend, aren't you, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly am. I would not be surprised if it actually does well, because the last movie was equally unhyped, didn't get good reviews, and still did pretty well at the box office. I'm not sure how.
Yeah, people like... I mean, I don't know who's seen these movies. That being said, we did go see that movie before we were doing reviews, so we didn't have an excuse, but we still went to see the fourth one.
Right. I have no idea why.
Yeah, and after we came out of that, we were like, why the fuck did we just see that? That was awful.
Yeah. This movie starts where the previous film left off. Alice, played by Mila Jovovich, and some of her allies are on this big boat or like freighter in the ocean, and the movie begins with the boat being attacked by Umbrella, and she gets blown off the boat by some explosion and is knocked unconscious, and then she wakes up in an Umbrella facility again. She has to escape from an Umbrella facility. This one is a little different. It has different kind of scenarios, like Umbrella Corporation built an imitation New York, an imitation Moscow, an imitation suburbia, and Alice has to fight through all these environments in a time constraint, because the whole facility is going to blow up in 2 hours, so she has 2 hours to escape.
Because her allies, or her,
are breaking her out.
Yeah, they're breaking her out, yeah. And they've set this bomb.
Want to destroy the facility as well. Yeah, and another important thing about this facility is that there are clones of Alice, of
Michelle Rodriguez.
The badass Hispanic chick,
yeah.
Rey Campo. So there's clones of a lot of the characters from Resident Evil, and which kind of helps to add this like emotional twist later on. So let's get into the movie, Michael.
All right. Okay. So the first thing I want to say is actually about the first scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Where they the opening shot is actually really cool. I put on the 3D glasses and I was just thinking like, oh my god, this is gonna suck. This is just gonna give me a terrible headache. Blah blah blah. And it eventually did give me a terrible headache. But in the first scene, I was like, wow, I'm really impressed because
I was like, it gave me a little bit of false hope, I think.
Yeah.
For the movie.
Yeah, because it
opens. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, it opens with like a really interesting fight sequence on the freighter in the middle of the ocean. But what makes it interesting is that as the opening credits roll, it shows this fight sequence happen in slow motion in reverse order. So everything's going back, like bullets are firing back into guns. People are jumping backwards instead of forwards, things like that, and it's all really cool.
Rappelling back up into helicopters and stuff.
Exactly. I mean. And then the credits end, and they play a brief sequence of the same fight scene.
Normal speed.
Normal
speed and
forward. And they and
it sucked.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I was like, wow, well, slow motion really makes things a lot cooler for whatever reason.
Yeah, slow motion and especially reverse.
Yeah,
like I would have I wish they'd done the whole movie like that. Except it would have been even longer, so maybe not. But
yeah,
if they'd just done all the cool scenes in reverse, I would have liked that more probably. Like I think that kind of is kind of interesting. How the reverse scene was like the only one of the only cool scenes, and I think this movie's like really. This director has like this really visual style where a lot of the sets are just kind of cool to look at, and like the costumes are kind of cool to look at, and there's a lot of explosions and stuff.
Yeah,
that's one of the only positive things I have to say about the movie is that like visually it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I mean,
it's intense.
Cool sets, cool guns.
It depends whether or not you really like that style, but I would definitely say that action and like stylistic fighting sequences take a front seat over, you know, good dialogue and good acting and plot mainly. Yeah. Really, nothing happens in this movie. They're in the same place for the entire movie, and it's like it's so not epic because they're not going anywhere and they're not doing anything. It's just her fighting through this like weird like umbrella laboratory experimental like facility for the entire movie, and that's it. Like they barely make it a few miles outside of the facility by the time the movie ends.
You know the whole plot instantly. It's like she's in a facility, she needs to escape. Done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
And
that is it.
It reminded me a lot of a video game, which I think for a movie is kind of a bad thing because I love video games. I wish they could make some video games into cool movies, but they often fail. And I think the whole movie was set up this way. Okay, so this umbrella facility had a New York setting, a Moscow setting, a suburbia setting. And I think it had these different settings just so that they could film cool action scenes there, kind of like a video game, like different levels.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, there were scenes where it was, like, she's fighting all these enemies, and after she, like, finishes kicking all their asses, like, some doors just slide open, and she, like, moves on.
And then there's another part of this film that's I don't think has been done. Nothing similar has been done to it in the previous installments. Where there's this scene where Milla Jovovich wakes up and it seems that she's that it's her previous life before the zombie apocalypse ever occurred, and she wakes up to be with her husband and her young deaf daughter. And all of a sudden, things go bad, and the husband gets attacked.
Zombies bust through the fucking door.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not zombies, but T-virus infected people.
Yeah. And then the girl, her young daughter, is carried throughout the movie, essentially. Well, literally carried, you know? And I think it added an emotional side, I guess, but Milla Jovovich did not do a good job acting in this movie at all, and it didn't seem like she actually gave a fuck about her daughter. There is a reason for that. I know there's a reason for that, but I don't want to give that away. There's a reason why she's not super, like, sweet to her daughter or whatever, you know, because it gets revealed later on. I got the sense that they were trying to play off or take a note from Aliens from 1984 or whatever, directed by James Cameron.
Yeah.
In which, you know, Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, has to take care of Newt, who is this little girl.
Oh, okay, I kind of remember this. Yeah.
And it seemed really similar to that in a sense, mainly just because of its dark setting and kind of, everything's destroyed, everything's rubble around them, and she has to kind of carry this girl through these scenarios and protect her.
Right, and it's not like I guess it tries to add some emotion, but I mean, the only reason you like the little girl is because she's cute, and it's not like you know anything about her or like anything really.
Yeah,
she's just some cute girl who has to be protected.
Okay, this movie's almost complete bullshit. I mean. The plot
doesn't make sense.
The plot makes... And also, what the fuck... That guy who plays Sean Roberts, he plays the guy with the shades on, who talks really seriously.
Oh, Albert Wesker, yeah.
Yeah. I thought he died in the fourth one. At the end of the fourth one, Milla Jovovich fights him. I thought she killed him.
He does. And they don't explain why he comes back at all.
That is so stupid.
At all.
That is so stupid.
At all.
Oh my god. And like when she first talks to him on the screen, she doesn't sound like she's surprised at all.
And she also has no doubts. Okay, so from the very beginning, when she's breaking out, we realize that someone is trying to help her escape from the facility. Alice, that is.
Yeah.
And then we figure out that Albert Wesker, the enemy from the last movie, is the one who sent the strike team to, like, you know, help her get out. And she has no trust issues with that. Yeah. She's just like, all right, cool.
I don't understand why that is. When I saw that, I was really confused. Like, genuinely, I thought it was something, you know, maybe it's something we missed. I don't know, but...
No, I don't think so, man. Really? I think it was just bullshit.
Really? Dude, there is so much slow motion in this movie. It's like Alice walking 5 feet, slow motion. And it has a scene that would otherwise take like 2 seconds. It makes it take like 4 or 5 seconds, you know?
I think it's just so they can fill up time. I mean...
That being said though, yeah. I was fine with watching Mila Jovovich walk in slow motion because I think she's pretty sexy.
Oh, that's a good point. Mila Jovovich is hot.
Yeah.
The Asian girl who she's working with is hot.
Okay, there was a few really, really cool action scenes, I thought, with just Mila Jovovich, just her fighting. I thought the stunts and choreography, like, especially with her in the scenes, were really good. She did some, like, cool things. Some stuff was really gimmicky.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. But she did do some badass stuff, you have to admit. And I really like that she's I really like that she's a female character that if I met in real life, I would be genuinely intimidated by. You know? Like,
oh yeah. Yeah, she's scary. I mean, dude, the scene with her in the chain.
Yeah, yeah.
She has this big metal chain and she's just smacking guys in the face with it left and right. Yeah.
One of my main like. Okay, it's not a main thing, but I was really annoyed by this. Why would they set the timer for the explosive that destroys the Umbrella facility? Why would they set it before they go in, limiting themselves to 2 hours? That seems really stupid.
I mean, it is retarded. They were planning on coming out the same way, so they could have just came out and set it to 10 minutes.
Yeah, right. I mean, exactly. That's what I was... I was like, do this after. Why are you risking your lives by going... Oh my God, God forbid they, like, take one of you, like, as a prisoner or whatever, and then the fucking facility blows up 2 hours later. That's retarded. That's just stupid. Why would you ever do that?
Right. And it was just such an obvious, like, we need to fucking up the ante on this shit, so there's a bomb.
Yeah,
it's gonna go off.
Exactly. I mean, it was
just like such an easy way.
It was really obvious. Yeah, it was really obvious. Like that's why they did that. Okay, so I thought this movie had a few good action sequences, a extremely thin plot line. There's some pretty bad subpar acting, along with a disappointing quote unquote origin story that slightly explains what Mila was like right before she became this DNA altered Umbrella Corporation experiment, which was somewhat interesting, but for the most part it failed to entice and add some sort of emotional depth to the film. There's a lot of stupid I mean, for lack of a better word, yeah, there's a lot of stupid scenes in which characters do stupid things, which I guess kind of just goes with the theme of the movie. So I would say if you are a fan of... I would say...
Which is stupid.
Yeah. I would say...
All right.
I would say if you're a fan of the Resident Evil series, this one is better than the fourth one, for sure, in my opinion. If you're not a fan, there's nothing here to win you over. So yeah. That would mean I would be giving it a 3.5 out of 10. So forget about it.
Yeah, I thought there were some scenes where it was just one-liners being thrown right and left. Like, some of the conversations only consisted of one-liners. Mm-hmm. I guess there was a few cool action scenes. The reverse time slow motion scene was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But there's really almost nothing to, justify seeing this movie other than hot girls kicking ass and, like, that's it, really.
Yeah.
Or if you're a fan. So I definitely probably would have rather just lost my $10, like been mugged or something, instead of actually having to sit through it. I'm not sure if that means I'd rather be kicked in the balls.
That probably does. That probably does. If you want the mugger can mug you and then kick you in the balls.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really torn between either a high rather get kicked in the balls or a low forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like a 3